The Canal. This was actually a request from a Geek Legion of Doom viewer, so here it is, just for you. So this is actually a 2014 Irish-produced movie, and it's written and directed by David Kavanagh. And even though it's actually a kind of an Irish-funded movie, I would say it definitely has a British flavour to it. And the reason why I say that, if you are familiar with the kind of the British dramas that we have mainly on sort of TV, the kind of the 2-3 part dramas that you sometimes get, it really does feel like it kind of belongs in that kind of sort of almost genre, if you like. And basically the story is we have a sort of a young couple have just bought a house, and they've kind of got a young child on the way, and there seems to be some kind of dark history with the house as we kind of see as the story sort of progresses. And the husband becomes increasingly kind of suspicious of the wife, thinks he's having an affair, and she goes missing, and of course he's naturally blamed. So is it him, or is there some kind of supernatural forces at work? Now, as the film progresses, obviously we kind of see more and more sort of supernatural things, but the question is this guy going mad, or is he, is there actual sort of supernatural presence here? So that's the kind of the basic premise without sort of giving too much away. So what's the film like? Well, I'd say this is a very well-made film. Now, it's different to, I would say, your kind of typical Hollywood or even lower budget sort of horror films. Don't expect this to be a kind of a particularly kind of gory or kind of special effects sort of led film, because it really isn't. This is more of a sort of supernatural, or perhaps it's a supernatural drama. And that's what it is. It's a drama rather than a kind of a horror, if you like. The main thing you'll notice here, and this is kind of why I say it kind of has this kind of like this British TV drama feel. It just the kind of the pace of this movie is very, very slow. It's it's like a slow build, and it's really not meant to be sort of scary as such. It's meant to be a kind of a character portrait, really. Is this guy going mad, and we kind of see evidence that we think he may be going mad, or is there actual evidence that there is actually supernatural things going on? And you'll kind of find this all is out within the kind of the last sort of portion of this film. Now, there are some effects on display here. It's not a completely barren film in regards to the kind of the supernatural special effects, and when we do sort of see them, I think it's quite effective. It definitely has that sort of that creepy feel that you kind of get, but it's kind of few and far between, and peppered just to make it kind of disturbing when we do see sort of things. So the question, if you like this film, is going to be if you like these very, very sort of slow, dramatic horrors rather than a kind of a gory or particularly like jump scares and things like that, because this really isn't the case here. I have to say, I do find it maybe goes at a little bit of a too slow a pace. I do think it borders on becoming a little bit boring sometimes, and kind of labours on trying to be somewhat artistic a little bit too much in some respects. But I can't fault the acting. I think the acting is very good. For the most part, and they have a very young child actor who I think, you're always going to struggle getting child actors of about sort of 4 and 5, but that's really the only kind of point where I'll say he looks particularly a little bit unnatural in this kind of environment, but I can't really hold that too much against it. I guess one of the only problems I have here is the depiction of the police, because I found them to be completely moronic and really don't act like police at all, if I'm completely honest. So I really didn't like the portrayal of the way these police act, the kind of the procedures they kind of follow, and the way the main sort of investigating officer conducts himself. I thought that was, considering this as a relatively kind of realistic sort of depiction, I found that quite unrealistic. When we do see effects, I think they're very well done, like I said. The last kind of 20 minutes or so of this movie, that's when it really starts to kind of get sort of amped up, but the pace will put people off. There's no kind of two ways about it. But it is a spooky film. I did quite enjoy it, but it's going to be, do you like the slow burns? If you like your kind of your slasher films and things like that, this really won't be for you at all. If you are from the UK, I think you may be a bit more accustomed to this kind of style of storytelling. I just recently watched something called Code of a Killer, which was a 2-part serial based. It's kind of like that. It's like these British specials that we'll just have on from time to time. It has that feel, and it does feel like it really belongs more on a kind of a TV, as a kind of a 2-part kind of TV special rather than a kind of movie. But it was a competently made film. I actually quite enjoyed it for what it was, even though Yes, it is slow, and there's no getting around that. So 6 out of 10 for me. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.